I'm glad you're all here today. This is one of the most important cases, maybe the most important case in my lifetime that I've been working on. This case is just, as we know, what happened, the raids at the houses. I was just informed today that 2 new people in Minneapolis got subpoenas. So that makes a total of 12 individuals who got subpoenas to appear before a grand jury in Chicago. And one thing I think you should all know, in this month there's a report came out from the Justice Department, from the Inspector General's office, about basically the FBI spying, harassing activists, people who are out there speaking their minds about things that they feel are injustices all around the world. And that report came out. It only goes to 2006. We need to push it farther. I think one thing we need to do, though, too, is I called Congressman Gutierrez's office, and maybe everybody else here could call his office. We need another church committee like they had back in the 70s. And in the 70s, with the church committee, what that was, for all you don't know, that the government was spying, the FBI was spying on groups that were opposed to U.S. foreign policy in Central America. And what they found out, that in the church committee, a report came out, and they found out that they were doing all kinds of dirty tricks, disrupting organizations, infiltrating peaceful organizations, religious organizations, anti-war demonstrations or organizations, I should say. And I think that's what we need to push for. We need another church committee. These people here are just activists, and if we let this happen to them, then everybody else here is going to be winding in the same situation. And so we have to stop it right now before it spreads.
I am happy to get this opportunity again to thank the people who have come here and the many people who have contacted us in the past few days. It is strange that the last sentence that I just said began with the word I. Because what I have known and what I have seen more clearly in the past few days, and especially on this afternoon, is that what you are seeing here is a true we and not an I. And what the people here understand is, one, that this is a serious situation. And we all are taking it seriously. And what we also understand is that it has been an honor for all of us to dedicate our lives to peace and justice, and to speak out and to organize others to speak out against the U.S. wars and occupations around the world. On Saturday, I mentioned in my press statement that I came from a family where both my parents and my aunts and uncles marched for peace. Many, many marches against the Vietnam War, and my father marched with Martin Luther King in 1963. They raised me all my life with those values of peace and justice and to serve the people. My partner of 28 years, Joe Osbaker, and I have raised our 2 sons. My second son is here with us today, Trey. And Trey is here because he's supporting us, but he's here also to support everyone. But he's also here because federal agents went into his room for over an hour and went through his belongings and his shelves and his drawers. So he's here. He is here and proud to be standing in this group of people that he has, in some instances, known his whole life. Anyway, that is a little small story about our family. But as I end this speech, I also have the honor to say, Yes, it's not just our family, it's not just those that got the knock on Friday, it's not just the many, many movement activists that are here today. But for anyone that tries to question what this is about, I have this to say. So far already, we have heard about 30 cities that have organized a response to these outrageous attacks on the movement. We have heard about North Carolina and Knoxville and Kalamazoo and Texas and New York, and the list goes on, and we have press people here that that you can get that list. And we hope that that list grows even further. And if anyone wants to understand how can that be over 30 cities, that's because of this speech, that it isn't about 2 people, 10 people. It's about the true message that we want people to walk away with is that this is not about these named people. It is about a movement being attacked and the FBI's attempt to intimidate, silence, and divide.
That's right.
And that movement, our movement, has been fast to come back and say we will, as the Chicago Press said yesterday, carry on.
7 a.m. on Friday, I heard the policeman's knock at my door. I looked out and saw 10 or more armed men and women. I opened the door and the man in front of me showed me his FBI badge and presented the warrant to search our home. It said our home was being searched because of Stephanie's and my activities in opposition to the U.S. government's military aid to Israel and Colombia, including our support for the struggles of the people of Palestine and the people of Colombia. They then presented us with subpoenas to appear in a grand jury starting next Tuesday, October 5th. And then for the next 12 hours, up to 25 agents searched through our home from top to bottom, pouring through every piece of paper gathered through our long years of life and political activity. They searched our music collection. 3 agents spent an hour or more in each of our sons' rooms, looking at their notebooks from school, the poetry written in high school by our older son. They then bagged and boxed up numerous pieces of evidence. When they discovered our attic and the 120 boxes we have there, they chose 28 boxes from the attic and hauled those away to study at their offices. Everyone we know joins us in condemning these acts, these raids as acts of intimidation of the movement against war and in solidarity with the struggles of oppressed peoples. What do the people visited around the country have in common? That's what all the media wants to know. Well, I'll tell you. We all know each other because we were involved in the largest anti-war protest in the Midwest during this last decade, the March on the RNC in August of 2008. I was the bus coordinator for Chicago, and I spoke at the rally in St. Paul. And many of us have not only opposed the wars and occupations in Iraq and Afghanistan, but as I said, we also oppose U.S. intervention in Colombia and U.S. military aid to Israel. So what is the Joint Terrorism Task Force doing? They are intimidating the anti-war and solidarity movements. But remember, the protests at the RNC, which were violently attacked by hundreds of riot police, and 8 organizers of the RNC Welcoming Committee were charged with domestic terrorism charges. By standing together as a community, the movement in the Twin Cities has defeated the terrorism charges.
That's right. That's what we need to do here.
We know why the FBI does these things, but we will not be intimidated. We'll continue our efforts until all the peoples living under U.S. bombs have peace with justice.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united